Hello, welcome to the webinar on Rapise 8.1. In this webinar, we are going to discuss new features and enhancements of this release. It's not that big release as Rapise 8.0, but it still has a few rather big features added. And mostly this is the maintenance release, and it introduces a lot of fixes and improvements to the features introduced in Rapise 8.0. Let's begin. As usual, you can find the detailed list of all the fixes and enhancements of any Rapise release if you will navigate to rapisedoc.inflectra.com. Then go to Release Notes section and open the release that you need. Here is the agenda for today. We'll talk about incorporating Chrome for testing into Rapise. Also, I'm going to show you how to run multiple test cases from Rapise without Rapise Launcher. Also, we'll talk about such RVL enhancement as using question mark to do conditional status reporting for actions. I'll show you the folder hierarchy that we implemented for web services REST requests. And at the end, it will be a demo of how to inspect web views on mobile targets with the web spy. And in this demo, I will show how using Rapise, you can test such applications like applications built with Ionic framework, when the application is actually a web page, but it's not opened in the browser. It's a separate application. Let's start. Chrome for testing was introduced in 2023. And it was an attempt of Chrome team to have a centralized storage for all the versions of Chrome and Chrome drivers. And the main idea of Chrome for testing is that this is the version of Chrome which is not updating itself. In Rapise, we added a special dialog that helps to manage Chrome for testing versions on a machine. Let's see how it works in details. To manage Chrome for testing versions on a machine, navigate to the main menu Tools, Chrome for testing, and you will see the list of Chrome for testing versions. If it is loaded, its status will be available. It means that this version was downloaded to this machine and can be used. Not loaded means that it's not available and you may download this version. This list of versions is pretty long because it shows all the versions and all the builds of Chrome that are available. You can search this list. So for example, if you want to see only Win32 versions, then you can type Win32. And this search string is smart. So for example, you may hit space and add another token to search for. So you may do available status. It means that I don't have any Win32 Chrome for testing versions downloaded locally. Let's search for 64. Okay, so here I see that I have one already downloaded. Also, you may use this search string to search for a specific build. So for example, 6295, and it's also filtered out. So let's go here. If we want to download some version, we need to simply select it and hit download button, and Rapise will start downloading Chrome. It takes a while, but once this version of Chrome is downloaded, Rapise will prompt us to create a web browser profile for this specific version. It means that this profile will reference the downloaded version. Okay, I will go with the default name that is suggested by Rapise. I don't want this profile to be local. I want it to be global. Let's click OK. And Rapise reports that it just created this profile inside Global Profiles folder on a machine. And now I can see that this version is available. If I want to create another profile with a different name, I can click Create Profile button, and Rapise will open Create Chrome for Testing Profile dialog. Let's close this dialog and go to all the profiles. Let's select the one that we just created. I think it's this one. And here, if we will scroll it down, you can see that the binary that is used by this profile is the binary that we just downloaded. So you may create as many profiles as you want for different versions of Chrome that you want to use for testing your application. The next new feature is the ability to run multiple test cases right in Rapise. This feature is available in the framework mode. So far, you could only do this using Rapise Launcher and test sets and using integration with Spira. But sometimes you just need to run a few test cases locally to see how it works. It's very handy for debugging. Also, not all our customers use Spira. And you can use this feature to run tests from a specific folder, or run just a few selected test cases. So let's see how it works. Here I have a framework opened, and in this framework I have a few folders and a few test cases inside those folders. Let's see how we can run multiple test cases from this folder using Rapise 8.1. I simply hit play on the toolbar, and Rapise shows me choose test case dialog. Here we can see all our test cases and all the folders. And here I may select what test cases I want to execute in this run. So I can simply select the whole folder to select all the test cases inside it, or I may select my test cases one by one. The order how you select the test cases matters. So for example, if we have nothing selected, and if I will select create author and then create book, then create author will be executed first, and then Rapise will execute create book. So let's actually run both test cases and see what we will get as a result. I am not sure that those test cases were already implemented, but let's see. So Rapise open the browser, executed create author test case. Here in the bottom right corner, you can see what test case is executed. So now Rapise is running create book. All right, execution is finished, and we can see our test cases and the status of execution. So we see that Rapise executed create author and create book. If you want to see the details, we can expand and see the steps of a specific test case. So this is how multiple execution of test cases works in Rapise 8.1. Next feature to discuss is conditional actions. Notice this question mark in the flow column on the row 4. The question mark tells Rapise that if, for example, accept all cookies object is not found during playback and we cannot click on it, then we should not report any error and just continue execution. So it can be really handy for buttons like this one. For example, when you open the website for the first time, it prompts you to accept all the cookies, and when you open it for the second time, you don't need to do this. And it actually depends on the machine where you are opening your website. Also, by default, if you are running tests in Rapise, then it works like this. Chrome no cache profile. It means that for each execution, Chrome will create a new empty profile without any memory for previous execution. And in such a setup, you will be prompted to click on accept all cookies button every time. But if for some reason, maybe you are using some multi-factor authentication or anything else, if for some reason you want to have a permanent profile, for example, like here, if I will open the properties and will scroll it down, here we can see that this profile is using permanent browser profile for Chrome in this specified folder. It means that it retains the history of your navigations, and if with this profile you already accepted cookies, then next time you run your test, you won't see this button. And this is exactly the case where to use this question mark. Folder hierarchy for web services. If you are testing a web service with a lot of endpoints and a lot of actions, get, post, delete, and so on, then if you use Rapise prior to 8.1, then all of those requests were put one beside each other, and it was very hard to find the section and requests that you need. And in Rapise 8.1, we added a folder hierarchy. Let's see how it works. Here I have a testing framework with a few test cases. So you can see test cases: administration, author management, book management, and each test case has a few web services added, like membership, author delete, edit, search, view, and the same for books. And let's see how those web services are displayed on the REST tab here. So I'm choosing tab. And here you can see for each test case, Rapise creates a folder and puts all web services inside this folder. Also, if I would have folders for the test cases as well, then those folders would be visible here as well. So it means that if you have a hierarchy here, then this hierarchy of folders and web services will be displayed here as well. And it makes much easier to find the web service and the endpoint and request that you want to modify, execute, and use for recording. Inspect web views on mobile targets with the Web Spy. There are many mobile applications these days that are actually web applications by nature. For example, applications built with Ionic frameworks. It means that you don't see the browser on the screen, but what you see on the screen is actually a web content. And we found out that in this case, it's much more efficient if you are creating tests using Web Spy and actually web library of Rapise. And for this purpose, we added a new feature in Rapise 8.1 that allows you to connect with the Web Spy to mobile applications and record your tests and also execute them. Also, with this new feature, you can do hybrid testing, and you may combine web and pure mobile native actions in a single test. And I'm going to show you how all that works in a demo. As a first step, I'm going to create the new framework. Go into File, Create New Test Automation Framework. Let's name it Ionic App Demo. And I will choose web for the beginning. Let's choose Selenium Chrome. All right, so new framework is created. And first thing to do is let's create a local version of Chrome browser profile. So I choose duplicate, click OK. So we have now the Chrome profile, which is local to our framework. And now I will specify some properties to connect to my Ionic application, which is running on Mac machine, where I have Android simulator and where I will have Appium running as well. So I have the settings that I need to use here on the machine. So let me open the file. Okay, and I will use it here. First, I will need the URL to the Appium server. So let's go here and let's specify the URL here. Also, let's increase timeout because sometimes starting of the application can be slow. And this is it for this profile. So I'm saving it. And also I will need to put some code into my common.js file. So I have this code prepared, and later I will explain why it is needed. So let's select the code and paste it here into common.js. Also, I want this code to be running during recording, so this is why I will add it to user.js file of my test case. So let's create the first test case. I will name it add photo because the demo application that we'll be using, it's kind of photo gallery application. Click and create, and here I will use RVL. And the new test case has been just created. Let's go to its user file and put common.js file here to be loaded during recording as well. So let's return to common.js file. And here, let's see what we have. The main part that we need right now is this get WebDriver non-profile capabilities callback. It is described in a lot of details in the knowledge base of Rapise. So it's not the article that I need. Let's go and open another page. And let's search for this callback here. Okay, and let's go to articles. And this is about how to specify Selenium and Appium capabilities that are not available in the UI. So in this knowledge base article, you may read about this callback. So basically, in our case, it will just add some Appium specific capabilities to our Selenium profile here. So here we are just connecting to the endpoint where Appium is running. And in this function, we just specify that we'll be working with Android. This is the Android package for our Ionic demo application. New command timeout 600 seconds. And also this is the path to the demo application APK, which is on my Mac machine that you can see here. Okay, so I think that now we already can connect to the application. So first thing to do is I will run my Appium server. So since the application is using embedded Chrome, then we need a specific version of Chrome driver with the Appium to be able to connect to the version of Chrome used by the application. You may read about it in more details in this article, how to use specific version of Chrome driver with Appium. And there are two ways. You may run Appium like this, and it will auto download the Chrome driver, or you may simply specify path to the Chrome driver executable. Actually, this is what I did here before running Appium. All right, so now we can connect to our application using WebSpy. Let's try to do this. So I click WebSpy, select my test case, and click OK. So we should see something in the log of Appium, and it should launch the application, and we should be able to see the DOM tree of the web content in this application inside Rapise Mobile Spy. So it takes a while, but the good feature of Rapise is that it can reconnect to the running application. Okay, we just connected to the web part. So if you are testing Ionic application, then it likely has the same structure and the same elements as on the web. So for example, I know that those buttons at the bottom, they are Ion tab button controls. So I can test this XPath here, and Rapise should show me the result in test result. So I can right click the element and choose highlight, and we can see that photos has been highlighted for a second. Actually, we really need this control in our testing scenario. Let's see what's inside. I'm going to expand it. It has Ion icon, and this Ion icon, it has a label, and this label has the name of the tab. So I will change this XPath manually. So it will be Ion label text, and it should be equal to photos. Let's test it, and it is found, and let's learn it. So we actually now have this control in our object repository, and we'll be able to create our test using this control. So let's click on photo here. Also, the next step, we want to click on this capture screenshot blue circle. So let's get snapshot to reload what's currently displayed on the device. And let's try to find what it means and how to refer to this control. So I am expanding the nodes here and trying to dig to this element. So tabs, I think it's inside div, it's router outlet. So to make sure that we are on the right track, we can right click and choose highlight. So what was expected has been highlighted. I think it's here. I think it's inside grid. Let's right click. No, maybe it's here. Let's highlight. Yeah, it's Ion Fab, and this button is inside it. Let's expand it. Okay, trying to click. Okay, it's Ion Fab button. I can double click it to get the XPath on the toolbar. I think it's pretty long, we don't need it. So I can just do a couple of backslashes and then just remove this part. So let's go here, Ion Fab, let's test it. Okay, button is found. I can highlight it to make sure this is our button, and let's learn it. Okay, the button learned. Okay, so now I can maybe click on it. So let's wait for a second. I will finish recording session and return back to Rapise. And if we will expand add photo here, then inside objects, we will see our photos and camera. So in my test, I will use like navigator open to connect to the application. I don't need any URL for this. And after connecting to the browser, we will use one of the functions from the CommonJS. This is the function save mobile session. What it will do, it will copy details from Selenium connection and will also save details for Appium connection. This is because after pressing capture photo button, we will go into native photo application, and there we will need to switch to mobile mode and then do some native mobile actions. So what I'm going to do is I will call this function. So let's go to functions. And here we will go to, we will call this save mobile session. Okay, actually, let's run it to save data for mobile session. And then we will configure our mobile part for this testing framework. Okay, so we connected. Oh, mobile profile is not available, and this is correct. So we need to go to, I think, tools and libraries. And so far, our test framework is just a cross-browser, but we need mobile library here as well. So I choose select. And if we will go to main.js file for our add photo test case, it now lists mobile as well. So let's now run these two lines one more time. And it should quickly reconnect to the application, save mobile data details. And using those details, we'll be able to reconnect to our application using Mobile Spy in this case. But first, we will need a special profile for this application. So let's go to settings, mobile. And here, let's choose some base profile like Android App Simulator. Let's duplicate it. And I will name it Ionic App Android. And click OK. It will be a local profile. And I will use some prepared values from my text file. First, we need to specify the URL for Appium. Okay, then path to the APK file. Okay, and it should be here. Those settings are okay. Android emulator, Android. My emulator is 12L, UI automator 2 and 600. I think we have it already. We can do test URL to make sure we can connect to Appium. All right. So let's now try to start a mobile session recording. So here we go, and this is our mobile profile selected. I think that by default it will connect to Chrome, so better to start recording from here. So I'm switching to Mobile Spy, and let's launch it. Choosing Add Photo, and we should be able to connect to the application. Let's click Get Snapshot. Okay, what it does is it actually restarted the application. Okay, but anyway, we can record our mobile part. So we are now in native mode. So let me go to Photos. Let me go here to Photo Application. Okay, let's now in our mobile spy get the snapshot. Okay, loaded. Okay, let's move this away and let's select this button. I hit tab. Okay, this is another button that we need. And let's tap on it. Okay, and we can see that on the device, we return back to the web mode. All right, so let's finish recording. Return back to Rapise and insert our recorded steps here. So actually, if you remember, we have photos in our object repository and we need to click on it. And also we have camera and we want to click on it. Then we need to do a couple of native actions. And to switch to native mode, we will need to use two functions from CommonJS. Let me scroll down. These are functions before mobile and after mobile. So actually before mobile, it switches to web context to a native app context, and after mobile switches back. Let's return here and we'll add those calls. So functions before mobile and functions after mobile. Okay, so actually let's try to run what we have. So I am going to our application. Let's restart Appium to start from scratch. Maybe it will become faster. Returning back and let's play. Let's play test. So you should launch the application, do two web actions. Actually switch to Photos tab and start making a photo process. Then switch to mobile and make a photo. So let's see how it works. Okay, photos, launching photo application. Okay, now we should click on make a photo. Okay, we clicked on make a photo button. So the next click should be click on the check mark. Okay, so let's see. Here we are in the web mode. And in Rapise, we can switch to web. Click Web Spy, and we should be able to reconnect. Okay, so actually, I think we are done with this scenario. I will just show you that now, after we configured everything, we can switch between web and mobile modes easily. So here you can see the Web Spy. And now if I will return to Rapise and switch to mobile mode and click Mobile Spy, we should be able to connect in mobile mode. And it should work quickly. Yes, it works. And you can see here that the context here is a web view, but we can switch to native context if we want. So I click in native, and we are now in native mode. Clicking back, and we are again in web view. Okay, let's close the web spy. And what I want to do in our test, I will simply add a couple of more lines to have a working test. So let's make a screenshot, and let's close the browser in the end. Also, it would be nice to check that we have our photo added. So let's add a few lines here. Let's launch the web spy again. Okay. And we will find our photo, and then we will add an assertion that will check for the presence of this photo element. Okay, so let's expand and see what element contains the image. I don't know, maybe it's the ion image or something like that. Okay, let's go to, I think it's in div, router outlet. It's usually in tab 2, content, and this is the grid. Okay, and the row, and the column, and the image. So it's ion image. Let's search for it. Okay, and we have the image here. Let's learn this object. And it should be added to our object repository. So let's finish. And now in Rapise, we have this ion image. Actually, I don't like the name, and I want to change it to simply image. And let's add assertion. Assert. And we will check that object exists, and this is true. Output 1 is true. And the action to do is we will use navigator, check object exists, and let's choose our image object. Image exists. This is the message that will go to the report. Okay, so we can run our test from the very beginning till the end, and I think that we need to move our screenshot before we are making assertion. So we will have the image in the report anyway. Okay, we are ready, I think. Let's see what we have here. We can go to tab 1. Also, maybe one more thing to do here is let's return to tab 1. So we have photos, and we know how those buttons are organized. So I can clone this object, and let's rename it to tab 1. And I know that I need to change the XPath here, and because the tab name is tab 1. Let's check it. Right, tab 1. Okay, and here we will click on tab 1. Okay, so we are ready to run our test. Let's do it. Since the application is running, it is much faster this time. Okay, what we have here, we have a browser screenshot that displays our photo gallery. And our assertion actually is true. So image actually exists in our image gallery. So let's quickly review our functions here. So we have a callback WebDriver non-profile capabilities. Here, profile name, this is our Chrome profile name. Also, notice this important thing here. We need this line so Rapise won't try to open any URL inside the application. It will just launch the application and connect to it. These are Appium capabilities for the application that we are testing. Safe mobile session is needed. So after establishing web connection, we are able to reconnect in a mobile mode to the application without relaunching the application. And before mobile and after mobile are used to switch between native context and web context. Well, I think we covered everything that I wanted to show in this webinar. If you have any questions, write to rapise@inflectra.com. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.